Welcome to my new series, where I will give you a quick video example of why said consoles are awesome, by showing an awesome game for that system. Today we are looking at the Sega Saturn, and the game that makes it awesome is Fighters Megamix. Fighters Megamix is an exclusive fighting game developed by AM2 and was released in 1996 for the Sega Saturn. The game is a crossover between two Sega series, Virtual Fighters and Fighting Vipers, but it takes it a step further by adding some random characters that I never even heard of before, like these guys. Or even some characters from other games like Virtual Fighter Kids, Ren-A-Hero, Sonic the Fighters, Janet from Virtual Cop 2, and even the car from Daytona. Yeah, you can play as the car from Daytona. He sucks though, but that's mainly because he's so fucking clunky and he's not very fun to control. But you know, hey, if you ever want to play as the car, he's here. Or if you ever just want to beat the shit out of that car, you can do that. And I almost forgot Vasquez from Aliens is here as well. Not really, but she does look like her, doesn't she? Oh, and technically the game was ported to the Gamecom handheld as well, but that one sucks, and obviously nobody cares about the Gamecom. Fighters Megamix was intended to be an introduction to Virtual Fighter 3, but since the Saturn died off so quickly, it was never announced for a release on the Saturn. Fighters Megamix is basically Sega's version of the King of Fighters. Take characters and fighting styles and gameplay mechanics from two games and mix it into one. Some of the arenas are just endless planes, like Virtual Fighter, but with no ring out. And the other ones are in cages, like Fighting Vipers. The armor breaking mechanic from Fighting Vipers is here as well. If a character takes too much damage, pieces of their armor will break off. But you can't break Virtual Fighter characters' armor off though, which kinda sucks. When you do break off someone's armor, it will show a series of quick replays for a couple of seconds from different angles, which looks pretty cool. In the options menu, you can choose for you and the CPU to play with Virtual Fighter controls or Fighting Viper controls. By default, it's set to Fighting Vipers, and I personally like this style of fighting better. But if you like Virtual Fighters controls, you can choose that one instead. There are a couple of modes to play here. You have Survival, 2 players, Team Battle modes, and a Training mode. Then you have the main option, Arcade mode, which is a bit different from other fighting games. Instead of giving you just random fights, it's a bit more organized, and the arcade mode is split into 9 sections. There's the Novice Trial, which is filled with beginner characters, Virtual Fighter, which obviously has nothing but Virtual Fighter characters, Fighting Vipers, which has nothing but Fighting Viper characters, Girls, which only has female characters, Muscles, that has strong characters, Smart Guys, that has the more tactical fighters, Dirty Fighters, which has the more of the sneakier type of fighters, Bosses, which are the hidden characters that you unlocked, and Secrets, which is the rest of the bonus characters that you unlocked that weren't in the bosses. Yeah, I know, it's kind of odd, but it works fine here. Each one consists of 6 fights against available characters, ending with the secret character that you unlock once defeating. As you can see from my gameplay, I played mostly as Candy. In Japan, her name is Honey. I love this character because for me, she controls the best, and she's just awesome. I don't know why I like her so much, but I do. For the most part, the gameplay is okay. It's not the best controlling fighter, and it can feel a bit clunky depending on which character you play as. But for the most part, it's fine. I did notice some slowdown from the gameplay here and there, but it's not too bad overall. And sometimes hits just won't connect, especially if you're playing as the Hornet or the Virtual Fighter Kids. Fighters Megamix is not going to win any rewards for its graphics. The graphics don't look all that great, but it's okay. But it could have and should have looked a lot better. It's very clear that Fighters Megamix doesn't take itself too seriously. There's 32 plus characters to choose from, and like I mentioned earlier, you can play as the car from Daytona, some weird looking animals, and a bear that doesn't even animate. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently you can play as the AM2 palm tree if you clock up to 84 hours of playtime and choose Kuma-chan with the Z button. It's a weird, quirky, but fun game. A lot of the time when you defeat opponents next to a cage wall, it breaks and they fly through, but sometimes it can lead to other funny results. As a single player game, it's not very long. Every character can be unlocked, I say, within 30 minutes to an hour, obviously excluding the palm tree. So as with most fighting games, I suggest playing with your friends to really get the most out of the game. It may not be the best fighter ever, or even the best fighter on the Sega Saturn, but it's a great game that I had a blast playing, and I don't think anyone would really be disappointed. Honestly, Sega should revive this series and add more characters from all their IPs, kind of like Super Smash Bros. Speaking of that, I have no clue why they didn't add at least Sonic into the Fighters Megamix. I mean, seems like a obvious choice, right? That's a big missed opportunity there. Now, if you have a Saturn, make sure you get Fighters Megamix. It's a fun game and a clear example of why the Sega Saturn is awesome. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.